Welcome, Elaine, back to the Zoom room for another Art of Letting Go live session. Great to have you here. Really interesting chat, which I think has set us up nicely for today's session. So we're going to dive into our quote as normal. Quite a bit of teaching around that today. So I'll go through that, then we'll have a look at today's workbook lesson. And we'll look at some of the text for a change. Not the text, it's actually the Song of Prayer technically, but text-like supplement to A Course in Miracles. Okay, so let's jump in then, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. You can read this quote to kick it off. One of actually the most famous quotes or sayings from Yeshua, from Jesus in the Bible, quoting the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened.
Yeah, as I said, one of the most quoted verses in the New Testament. And what Yeshua is telling us is to ask the Holy Spirit, or if you prefer alternative terms, your remembrance of perfect love. That's our after letting go terminology for it. Your inner guide, your higher self, intuition. All these are names for the same presence. That's another one. The presence of God in you, in your mind. So this remembers only perfect love in every situation, which is why we call it the remembrance of perfect love. And so it helps you to interpret every situation in a way that's truly helpful. Whenever you need it, and it also shows that you will receive the guidance you really need whenever you ask for it. And this isn't unique to A Course in Miracles. There's many other spiritual teachers and teachings who've used very similar language. So, for example, Joseph Campbell, the guy who discovered and formulated the hero's journey based on his studies of thousands of myths and legends of many seemingly different cultures, religions, philosophies, and spiritual traditions, talks about the power of following your bliss. So he used the word bliss to refer to an inspired purpose that activates a flow of positive, helpful energy in the hero's or heroine's life. In this very inspiring quote. So if you can read that quote from Joseph Campbell, please.
Follow your bliss. If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself in a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you, and the life you ought to be living is the one you are living. When you see that, you begin to meet people who are in the field of your bliss, and they open the doors to you. I say, follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. If you follow your bliss, doors will open for you that wouldn't have opened for anyone else.
Yeah, it's a very, very similar language, even to the analogy of the door opening, which obviously Joseph Campbell would have been aware of this verse in the Bible, given it's 2,000 years old. So it's probably influenced by it in writing this. But a really nice idea that the door to another life opens to you where you just didn't know there were going to be doors. So this is really the opposite of goal setting, isn't it? Goal setting says, right, you're going to set your goal and you're going to determine how you're going to get there, and you're going to pursue it. And I remember, I don't know if you ever did this, any serious intent, but they'd say, right, you've got a 10-year goal, so break it down into 5 years, and then
Yes,
2 years,
yes.
then 1 year, and then 6 months, and then 3 months, and okay, now you've got. It's like, but it just doesn't work that way. In
No.
10 years, I mean, we have no idea what the world's going to be like. You
Well,
know,
yes, a long time.
the the changes that are going to happen in society could make that whole plan completely irrelevant. So the only way to do it is to just go with the flow, which is what Joseph Campbell is saying. It's what Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, called synchronicity, which means the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. So, for instance, that synchronicity you described in the expression, you won £100 in your local lottery,
Yes.
and then immediately, you've got the money, and then a workman comes by, and you owe him, sorry, €100, and
Yeah.
you owe him €100, and so you give it to him. Now, that apparently is no discernible causal connection, but you have to start wondering when that kind of things happen that maybe there is a connection. Just you're not aware of exactly what that connection is.
Mm. Yes.
So it's very helpful, but it's logically inexplicable. The workman coming by at the exact moment that you receive
Okay, it was.
€100 is, coincidence. It doesn't, you can't really explain it logically, but
No.
this is what Carl Jung called synchronicity.
Yeah,
It's
his timing was perfect.
yeah,
And
and it
the
just
exact,
somehow works, and they're not causally, logically connected, but
no,
somehow
no.
there
It
is
was
a
perfect.
connection. And even though it defies logic, because you winning the lottery and this guy showing up at the very exact moment that you get the money isn't logical, but that is what happened. And so there's
Yeah.
something bigger at work here. This is what
Oh,
the
yes.
likes of Carl Jung and other psychologists like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who was the guy who coined the term flow. Um, and so whatever you call it, whether it's a synchronicity, whether it's flow, whether it's miracles, that's the term Yeshua uses for it. It's really describing the same thing.
Mm.
It's just terminology that changes. It's not anything different. I think a lot of people don't understand that. So they go, "Oh, okay, well, they put things in boxes. Carl Jung's synchronicity and Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's flow and Yeshua's miracles and whatever anyone else has called it. Wu Wei was the name that was given in China by Lao Zi. And there's been other names. Bliss, that's Joseph Campbell's name, and you could probably find half a dozen other names for it. It doesn't really matter because there's the same thing is actually at work, irrespective of what you call it. So I just included a little song there because it's very much about this principle of flow, and I've included the lyrics. I'm not going to play this song because it means YouTube will probably ban the video because of copyright. So otherwise I would. But we can read the lyrics. So
Mm-hmm. When there is a shadow, it, yeah. When there's a shadow, you follow the sun. When there is love, then you look for the one. And for the promises, there is the sky. And for the heavens are those who fly.
okay, so just pause it there. That's. I
Mm.
mean, it's poetry, really. That's the beauty of these
Mm.
modern songwriters. It's really poetry put to music and then made into a popular song.
Yeah.
But before the modern age, and we had all these pop stars and this whole music scene. This would have been poetry. Someone would have just written a poem like this, and then
Mm.
you know it doesn't have the same impact if you don't put it to music.
Mm.
But the lyrics are powerful. When there's a shadow, you follow the sun. Okay, so shadow in your mind, you follow the sun. I'm not talking about on a physical level. This is on a spiritual level.
Mm.
When there is love, then you look for the one. So the one is the one source
Mm.
of love. So whenever there's love, then you look for the one, the source of that love. And for the promises, there is the sky. So the promise really is this, and the sky is symbolic of infinite pure formless awareness, right? Because it's unlimited and it's up above us, and it's, the most infinite expansive thing we can actually see in this world. It doesn't appear to have a limit. And for the heavens are those who can fly. So those who can fly away from the prison of their thoughts, from the prison of the world, can go to the heavens, which are, up above us in this unlimited awareness that the song is pointing to. So it's actually quite deep. These are not frivolous lyrics. Whoever wrote it, I don't know if Enya wrote it or someone else. Whoever wrote it clearly has some kind of spiritual understanding and connection. All right, then carry on. The next stanza, effectively. See, it's even arranged in stanzas. Four lines, the classic stanza in a poem.
When there's a journey, you follow a star. When there's an ocean, you sail from afar. And for the broken-hearted, there is the sky. And for tomorrow are those who can fly.
Yeah, so when there's a journey, you follow a star. Right? Star is symbolic of the higher vision. The Star of David, the Star of Bethlehem. So you're on your spiritual journey, and you're following the star, which is enlightenment, which is awakening. When there's an ocean, you sail from afar. Okay, so there's an ocean of source, of oneness, and you come from afar to join that ocean, right? We seek that ocean. For the broken heart, there is the sky. So there is this unlimited awareness for those who have suffered and have what we call a broken heart. And for tomorrow, those who can fly. So we can fly away, fly into the unlimited sky of our eternal awareness, if we choose to. And that is, the real promise of the future, that we can escape from the prison, from the cage. And you see the image I've chosen is the bird flying away from the cage. All right, next one. If you really want to.
If you really want to, you can hear me say, only if you want to, will you find a way. If you really want to, you can seize the day. Only if you want to, will you fly away.
Again, what is that but the Holy Spirit calling us and saying, okay, what do you really want? This is going to require an intention, a desire to fly, to escape from the dream. Only if you want to will you find a way. Right? The hero's journey isn't easy. It's going to take courage. It's going to take persistence. It's going to take perseverance. It's going to take a consistent, persistent will for that to happen. If you really want to, you can seize the day, right? You can be in the moment. Seizing the day is about being present, being in the moment, living your life one moment at a time. Only if you want to will you fly away. Right? So there has to be a will to awaken. That's really what this is saying. If you really want to, you can do this. Do you really want to? That's the question. So there's a call and there's a challenge in this. Only if you really want to. How many people really want to let go of the world, let go of their false identity, and fly away from the whole world? Actually, very few. They might say they do, but they're not willing to let go of the past and let go of their ego identity and the various things in the world that they still value, desires, grievances. It's going to take a lot of willingness to let go of this, which is exactly what the Course is saying. You need to have willingness to do this, and that's your only qualification. Great knowledge and studying and even intelligence isn't as valuable as the willingness to say, yes, I will do this. I will commit to this. This is my path. this is my way out. I'm on this path and nothing is going to dissuade me. And then you're an authentic initiate on a path of awakening, of enlightenment, if you really want to. But you will be tested in that willingness. There's no doubt. Because when the going gets really tough, that's when it's like, okay, so what do I really want? Do I really want to awaken? Am I going to forgive this without exception and just do it because it's the right thing to do? Or am I going to allow myself to vacillate, be swayed by the ego? And then the final lines are in French. So, je voudrais voler comme un oiseau d'aile. I don't know how to say that. It's probably my pronunciation is terrible, but it translates as I would like to fly like a winged bird. I would like to fly like a winged bird, and then d'aile. So I interpret that as so wing it. So go for it. I'd like to fly like a winged bird. I'd like to fly away from the world. So go for it. Wing it. Trust the synchronicity. Trust in the flow. Trust in the process. And that's why I use this
Okay.
lyrics of this. Yeah. Because synchronistically, when I was actually writing this song came on. And I was like, okay, well, why is that song coming? And then I really listened to the lyrics. It is one of my favorite songs. I really listened.
It is. It got a beautiful, yeah, really
a beautiful voice, but it's poetry sung, and if you really look at the meaning, the deeper meaning of it, it's profound. This is a profound poem calling us to awaken, calling us to fly away from this world, from the mundane, from all of our fears and cares and worries, and fly into infinity and eternity, into heaven. That's the deeper meaning of the song. And this is how the Holy Spirit uses things like words and music to inspire us. It's there. If you listen to so many lyrics of songs, you will hear the truth being communicated in it, even if that was not the explicit intention of the writer of the song. You hear the truth coming through, even if it's a love song about a special relationship. That can be reinterpreted as a call to divine love if you listen carefully. So often. So yeah, really, really interesting. And we must pay attention to these cues because they're there to help us. No doubt. It's all part of the Holy Spirit's curriculum of awakening. Okay, so that prepares us quite nicely for today's session, which we're well into now. And the theme of today's lesson, which we're on to lesson 339, I think. I closed that down. Okay, never mind. We'll just open it up again. Lesson 339. There we go. So let's skip the insert on what is the ego. Maybe just read a quick summary of that. And then we'll go into the lesson and forgiveness to destroy. Okay, so let's just summarize. We'll just read the summary quickly.
Yeah. The belief in separation is entirely false and rooted in the idea of a separate, limited self, doomed to suffer and die in a body. It denies pure formless awareness of perfect love and perceives it as an enemy, distorting truth by claiming that strength is weakness, love is fear, and life is really death. The belief in separation is insane, imagining itself as separate from the infinite and victorious over perfect love. It dreams of punishment and perceives enemies to attack out of its fear, which only perpetrates conflict and suffering.
Perpetuates, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any thoughts on that? Maybe just give a quick take on a quick summary.
Just talking about the separate self and the insanity of it. It's limited, it suffers, it dies, and it, in place of who we really are, the pure formless awareness, it sees that as the enemy and distorts the truth. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe just to show you visually, and anyone who's watching or listening, go into the descent into hell. We go, well, you know, how does love then seem to be hateful and fearful? Because what we must do if we believe we're an individual separate self and we're guilty of the sin of destroying God or pure formless awareness of perfect love is we project that out and we create a concept of a fearful, wrathful, vengeful God. And that fearful, wrathful, vengeful God is now made in the image of the ego. So it appears to be fearful and hateful. And we go, God is supposed to be a loving God, but actually this is a God of wrath and vengeance. And we fear God. This is the God of the Old Testament, the fire and the brimstone coming down from heaven to punish, his sinful subjects who disobeyed it. But we've made that up. That is not what God really is. That's just our own fearful misconception of God. But it's a necessary consequence of the belief in separation. So there's no accident that this is a version of God that has dominated many religions for thousands of years, because that's what the mind must create if it believes that it is guilty of destroying God or love. It will create this in that image from that idea. This is what he's saying in this first paragraph. So dreams of punishment, because what sin and guilt demand is punishment. Perceives enemies to attack out of its fear. So we project all this out onto apparent enemies, and we say, well, now we've made an enemy of God, and everyone out there in the world, other people and circumstances, are out to get us. So we believe that there are enemies out to get us because we believe that we deserve to be punished. And so we create that reality for ourselves. Totally insane. Once you understand how the ego's thought system really works, you can only see it perceive it as insane. There's no other valid interpretation of it. And of course, that's the beginning of your awakening. Because once you perceive it as insane, then you're going to say, well, I can't believe in this anymore. I've got to let it go. And, ask for sanity instead. Okay. So let's go on to the next one.
Is it your turn?
Okay, I don't mind reading. If you
Yeah.
summarize. In truth, I am the extension of perfect love, eternally united with it. Loving in pure formless awareness of perfect love, I know nothing of madness, suffering, or fear. Surrounded by eternal peace and joy, I remain unaffected by all illusions of separation. To know reality is to see beyond the separate self and its false thoughts, plans, laws, hopes, and dreams, which really demand great suffering and sacrifice from me in return for the illusion of freedom. Okay, so
Just letting us know the truth of who we are. We're the extension of perfect love and eternal. And in this existence, or if you're in pure formless awareness, you know nothing of the fear and madness and suffering. You only know peace and joy, and unaffected by all the illusions of separation.
yeah. And so we must, while we apparently hear and we still have sense perceptions, our job becomes to see or to perceive a reality beyond the separate self and its false thoughts, plans, laws, hopes, and dreams. We don't need a reality, we've got reality. Perceive beyond all of that. That's what we must do. Because if you only perceive the false thoughts and plans, laws, hopes, and dreams of the ego, which are all about suffering and sacrifice, then you're not going to know reality. You're going to, in fact, be denying reality. Right? All the false thoughts, plans, hopes, laws, dreams, all of that denies reality and denies that you know reality. So logically, you must let go of that in order to accept reality back. So going back here, we've denied the truth, right? The ego is the denial of truth. So in order to reverse that, we must now deny the denial of truth. This idea of separation and everything that comes from it is just a denial of truth. We must deny that denial in order to accept the truth back. And that denial of the false is forgiveness. That's all forgiveness says, is this isn't true. So let it go. And when you let it go, then what naturally it remains is your true awareness, because that's all that's left. So you cut away everything that's not whole and complete, and then what remains ultimately is the truth of who you really are, your authentic self. But like a sculpture, where you cut away, you don't like a painting, create something from scratch. You take a block of marble and then you sculpt it and you cut away what's not the sculpture to reveal what was always there. So take the David, which is probably the greatest sculpture in history. How did Michelangelo do it? He said, well, I just took away what wasn't David. Very interesting process. And that psychologically is what we're doing. We're taking away what isn't truly us. And when we've removed everything that's not us, then what remains is authentically us, is who we really are. So this is a path of really renunciation, of letting go, rather than I'm going to create something. No, I'm just going to let go or undo what I'm not in order to reveal what's already there. And that's a very, very important psychological distinction. That actually separates truly spiritual path from one which is more egoic, say all about growing the ego, personal growth, we call it. Because authentic spirituality says, no, you already are whole, complete, and perfect. You just haven't realized it. So let go of what you're not to reveal what you are, but you already are that. So that's fundamental acceptance of who you are at the foundation. A personal growth type mindset says, no, you're a bit deficient and dysfunctional, but you can fix it. You can grow and you can become something more than what you currently are. Now that's quite seductive, isn't it? And a whole trillion-dollar industry, certainly billions of dollars of sales happen every year on that premise. Okay, so you're not quite where you want to be, but I'll show you. I'm the guru, and I'll show you how to get where you want to go. And here's the vehicle. I'll give you the vehicle. And of course, that's going to cost you some money. But if you pay me, then you'll get XX and this result. And so you're going to grow into something that you're not, and you need my help to do it. A very seductive argument from the ego's perspective. And people fall hook, line, and sinker for it all the time. But the truth is that you are already perfect and whole and complete. It's already in you. And so you've just got to know how to let go of what you're not. And that's where forgiveness or letting go or surrender, acceptance, whatever you want to call it, comes in. Just cut away what you're not. And so that should become, what you dedicate your life to. Because you already are whole, complete, and perfect. You've just forgotten it and you've covered it over with a load of rubbish. And now you've got to let go of the rubbish to reveal the gold that lies underneath the rubbish tip that you've piled on top of it. Very different from saying, no, you're a rubbish tip, but now you've got to transform the rubbish tip into gold. And, no, that's never going to work. So psychologically, that's why a non-dual path like A Course in Miracles is fundamentally different from, say, a personal growth path, because the fundamental assumption that underlies that path is different. Course says you're already whole, complete, and perfect. You've just forgotten that and covered it over with a load of rubbish. The ego says, no, you're somewhat flawed and dysfunctional, but I'll show you how to grow and become a better separate self.
Well, that's all fine when you're young and well, like footballers, for example, they're living the life or appear to be living the life, but there's, it's only short-lived, isn't
Until
it?
you lose.
Well,
That
until they
is
get
not,
until
not
they
so,
get in, and then in their 30s, they've got to retire, haven't they?
yeah. And then the lessons come. I mean, the lessons come. That life is no one in the world has an easy life. Even if you're a footballer and earning gazillions, you've
Yeah.
still got tests, challenges, difficulties, coming up all the time, which you've got to navigate. And the only thing that's going to get you through that is letting go.
Mm. Mm.
It's letting go of the separate self, separate identity. And the lessons continue. There was a guy called Hugo Ekitike who plays for Liverpool, and he was stupid enough in one of the earlier season games in the season. He ripped his shirt off after scoring a goal, and he displayed his shirt and was like pointing and going like, I'm the man," and it was pure ego. And then he got a yellow card.
Oh, oh.
He got a yellow card, and he'd already got one in the match. So that meant he got sent off for taking
Mm.
his shirt off. And of
Mm.
course, everyone's just like, what an idiot. So there he is, he's a superstar and he's earning all his money, but there was a
A
a
mad
really good
moment.
lesson
Mm.
probably for him. He probably went, like, that was just stupid because I got
Mm.
too full of myself, was all about, oh, I'm the man, I'm the man. And then instantly he gets humbled. Like the correction came within 30 seconds because like the ref goes, cheers, you're off.
Mm.
Off the
Mm.
field. Oh dear, I got that wrong. So they had their lessons as well, and
Yeah.
obviously once he once he's had his career and it's all over, and all of that pomp and glory is over, then okay, then what?
And the
Then
lessons, yeah. Mm.
you've got to let go of all that. So whoever you are, wherever you are in life, letting go is essential. You're going to have
Mm.
to the sooner you learn the skills of letting go, the better, because it's without that skill, you are going to suffer. There's no doubt. Suffering is comes when you identify with the separate self and you don't let go. We have to learn that the hard way, though, through suffering. So I discussed this the other day. Like, I was listening to Tony Robbins. He's probably like the guru of personal growth, right? But
Yes.
he's saying in this interview with Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO, quote, this is a direct quote, "I hate suffering."
Oh, I think I saw that. Yes. Yeah. Mm.
It's like, why would you hate suffering when suffering is your way out of the dream? You
Mm.
only forgive when you suffer. No one forgives when they're having a whale of a time. You only forgive when you suffer. So suffering teaches you to let go of your separate self and awaken to who you are. So it's an essential part of the process of awakening. Why would you hate that? Unless you fundamentally misunderstand what suffering is about. But you see how that mindset of it's all about growth and success and it misses the point. It's like, okay, so now you can't perceive suffering correctly. You're just saying I hate suffering and I want to eliminate suffering. Well, hang on. That's not possible. In this world, there's always been suffering. So maybe you just need to reinterpret the suffering, to learn from the suffering. And then it's all perfect in its imperfection. Then you're like, well, I wouldn't change a thing because that suffering is exactly how I awaken from my dream and free my mind from the illusion of being a separate self and its prison of hell. It's miscreated. So why would I not welcome it? But you have to have a different paradigm in order to do that. You can't do it from the personal growth perspective.
Mm.
It's from personal, from that perspective. No, I just want success and I want happiness and I want all the good things of life, and I don't like the suffering. So no, I hate suffering. There's an aversion reaction, and I went, doesn't hasn't he studied Buddhism? You'd think he would, because
Mm,
it's all in Buddhist teaching, which is 2,500 years old. The Buddha said one form of craving, which is the source of all suffering, is the aversion. Is saying, I don't want something to be this way. Oh, I hate suffering. I don't want suffering. He's
mm,
going, that's just another form of craving, which he called aversion, which is going to trap you in the illusion. You got to let
mm,
go of that as well. So, these principles are very, very old and ancient, but somehow in modern society, we've forgotten. A lot of this wisdom has just been forgotten and is now being remembered. And people are going, back to, and then the irony is they call it New Age. It's not New Age. This is very old age. These teachings come from thousands of years ago. New Age, Buddhist teaching is New Age. No, it's 2,500 years old. It's just called something different now. It's called mindfulness. That's all. It's just been labeled differently, but it's the same ideas, just repackaged. Anyway, let's go back to this. So if you can read paragraph 3,
yeah.
and then you may as well read the key message as well, paragraph 4.
But just one thought of letting go transforms this negative awareness into pure formless awareness. All illusions dissolve, and the foundation of separation is replaced by the foundation of life itself. Peace is restored to the innocent minds extended by perfect love, eternally one. And the key message: the belief in separation is false and insane, leading only to illusions of sin, guilt, fear, and suffering in many forms. In truth, I am the extension of perfect love, eternally united with it in peace and joy. By letting go of my belief in separation and separate self in all its forms, I will awaken to eternal life and live in a state of peace, joy, and love. Yeah, that's who we really are.
Yeah, it's just calling, it's a particularly important section because you have to name the ego for what it is. You're not going to awaken unless you understand what the ego is and what it does.
Mm,
And that's really the um, course's approach. So forget about, the love and the light. And to start with, let's look at the ego. Like, say, just really look at it and let's unpack it and understand it, so that you understand just how insane it is, because only when you really viscerally understand that will you be willing to let it go. So, again, the ego, the darkness, the suffering are the pathway to the light. You only get to the light through the darkness by looking at it differently and letting it go. And that's its only value. It has no intrinsic value itself, inherent value, but it has value because it's part of your awakening. It can reveal the light to you. A very, very important understanding. And then, do you see why you can then say, well, all things work for good and all
mm,
things are perfect in their imperfection. And I can accept anything that happens in the world, even, the most heinous, seemingly awful things, because it's all part of this process of awakening. It's all a necessary part of this letting go of the ego. So I welcome it, I embrace it, I don't resist it. And then you're letting go, then you're surrendering to life instead of resisting it. If you go around hating suffering and doing your best on the level of form to fix the world, you're never going to do it. You're never going to achieve that. I mean, it's essentially the difference between an Eastern and a Western approach. If you think of the US, very materially oriented society. So it's a society dedicated to the idea that you can make the world better by what you do.
mm,
Yes, so material progress is valued, material wealth, material possessions. And if you put your mind to something, you can achieve it. What the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so predicated on that idea is a whole society. Tony Robbins is really, just the archetype of that society. It's why he's been so successful, because people buy into the thought system that he represents. They go,
mm,
yes, that is the way it is. But the Eastern way is saying, no, no, because there's always been suffering, there's always pain, there's always dysfunction. It doesn't matter how much you try and fix it in the world, it's still going to be there. So give up on these futile efforts to make the world into a better place and instead perceive it for what it is and let it go. And then you'll awaken to true reality, which is beyond this world. Very, very different mindsets, aren't they? Very different,
mm, mhm,
and actually contradictory. You can't really reconcile them ultimately.
mm,
The one is form-based. The one is saying, I'm going to try and grow and become a better person in the world, and I'm going to try and manipulate form and make it into what I want it to be. And of course, you're going to be disappointed a lot of the time, even if you create a society like America, which is one of the wealthiest in the world. They've got so many comforts, so much technology, amazing on some levels. Yet there's still huge amounts of dysfunction and pain and suffering in that society. So you haven't eliminated that, have you? All of your technology has not eliminated human suffering. Arguably, it's made it worse. Arguably, okay. They'd say, well, at least most of our population have food to eat and a roof over their head, and it's not always the case. But then, okay, but hang on. Now, because they have too much, they overeat, and 30% of them are obese, and now you have extremely high rates of lifestyle diseases. So you've created another problem. They don't have too little food; they have too much food. That's just one example, and then that creates a whole set of other problems and suffering that goes along with it. So yeah, fascinating to look at the different approaches, and then from that discernment, you choose. You say, okay, I'm going to choose a path that makes sense to me. And if you're really a deep thinker, the only path that will make sense is a more spiritual path, a path of renunciation, of letting go. Um, because the other way, it's like, well, where does that lead you in the end? Suffering, aging, and eventually death. And then, okay, so you did all this stuff, and then you end up dying anyway. So what was it really all for? If you think of someone like a Tony Robbins being super successful, 114 companies, as he likes to say, it's like, yeah, okay. And when you die, where's all that going to go then? What does that actually mean?
mm,
The Eastern perspective is like, well, it doesn't mean anything. It's just an illusion. So don't focus on it. Rather focus on the eternal while you're here. Instead of trying to build form, uh, build a deeper connection with your source and dedicate your life to that. Okay, so on that note, that leads us quite nicely into today's lesson. Let's dive into lesson 339. Okay, so lesson 339. I will receive whatever I request. With an alternative, if you want to read that, Elaine.
I will receive whatever I ask for.
Yeah, I just made it, instead of will receive, I made it I receive, because
Mhm,
it's not then future oriented, it's present. I receive whatever I ask for. So if I ask for it, I receive it. And we're talking about the prayer of the heart, the prayer of your deeper subconscious mind. This doesn't mean, oh, I asked for a Lamborghini and then I'm going to get it. I receive what I truly ask for in my heart. So if I'm asking for things of the world, material things, then that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the material. But if I ask for truth and peace and love and joy, and I'm sincere in that asking, then that's what I'm going to invite into my life. That's the law. That's how it works. The law of attraction, we know about that. And on a deeper level is saying exactly this. I receive whatever I ask for, but it's at a deeper level. It's not just my conscious mind, it's what's happening in my subconscious. So if I'm saying consciously, oh, I just want love and peace and joy, but underneath that I'm frustrated and angry, then that overrides the frustration and anger override what I consciously ask for. And what I'm really asking for is things that are going to trigger me to get more frustrated and angry. And so then we wonder why those things show up, because you're angry inside. So then you attract more of what triggers that anger to arise. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay. So let's go into first paragraph of the lesson. Shall I read the original and then you read the
Yeah.
alternative sentence by sentence? So no one desires pain,
No one desires pain,
but he can think that pain is pleasure.
but they can think that pain is pleasure.
No one would avoid his happiness,
No one would choose to avoid their happiness,
but he can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous.
but they can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous.
Everyone will receive what he requests,
Everyone will receive what they ask for,
but he can be confused indeed about the things he wants, the state he would attain.
but they can be confused indeed about the things they want and the state they want to attain.
What can he then request that he would want when he receives it?
What can they then request that they really want when they receive it?
He has asked for what will frighten him and bring him suffering.
They have asked for what will frighten them and make them suffer.
Let us resolve today to ask for what we really want, and only this, that we may spend this day in fearlessness, without confusing pain with joy or fear with love.
I resolve today to ask only for what I really want, so that I may be fearless today and not confuse pain with joy or fear with love.
Okay, so read it from the top in the alternative.
No one desires pain, but they think that pain is pleasure. No one would choose to avoid their happiness, but they can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous. Everyone will receive what they ask for, but they can be confused indeed about the things they want and the state they want to experience. What can they then request that they really want them they receive it? They have asked for what will frighten them and make them suffer. I resolve today to ask only for what I really want, so that I may be fearless today and not confuse pain with joy or fear with love.
Okay, what's your take on that? Summary.
Again, just saying we don't desire pain, but we think pain is pleasure. So no one would choose to avoid their happiness. So they can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous. So everyone's going to receive what they ask for.
Yeah, so we perceive, the truth of oneness as a threat, and it's dangerous to our ego. Even though that's what's going to bring us joy, we perceive it as painful, threatening, and dangerous, and so we avoid it, which is totally insane. But then, that's the ego. It is totally insane. It's totally upside down and backwards, which is why evil is the word love spelled backwards. It's upside down. It's backwards. The way we live through the ego is a backwards way of life. Upside down, backwards, which is why evil is live spelled backwards. There's no accident in that. Okay. So any other thoughts on that? Saying what we already know, but stating very explicitly, cause-effect relationship. You receive what you ask for. So what you really ask for in your heart, and that is the true prayer is actually your state of mind and your emotional state. Right? Your emotions are the prayer to the universe to say, this is what I want. Most people don't understand this. Think it's what you consciously think. No, it's what you are feeling on a consistent basis. So you might be consciously asking for something, but you're feeling consistently depressed or anxious or angry, upset. That is actually the prayer in your heart that is then going to express into the world and bring you more of the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very simple. This is rocket science. This is, law of attraction 101. I receive whatever I ask for. But it goes much deeper than that law of attraction ever did, because that was really about what I consciously think. I set a goal, I want something, usually something physical, something material. This is saying I receive whatever I ask for in my heart. So what am I thinking? What am I feeling at a deeper level? And that is what I'm asking for. If I'm feeling anger, then I'm really asking for situations that give me more anger. You see, that becomes the prayer of your heart then, which is why the vibrational frequency that you vibrate at is so important. If we look at David Hawkins's scale of map of consciousness, if you're, let's say, stuck in an angry state or pride, then you vibrate at that level and you ask for things that match that frequency, and they tend to then show up. Take, Donald Trump, a lot of pride, a lot of anger, and what does he get? But he gets people who are attacking and condemning him, because that's his prayer. That's what he's asking for. Not consciously. So this is really unfair, and people are attacking me, and no, but it's because of the energy you carry. That's why these things keep showing up for you. So the prayer of our heart is the energy state and level that we're on consistently over time. And so if you're let's say at pride, you're going to get a very different outcome from someone who's at joy or peace. A Ramana Maharshi says is vibrating in these upper reaches of peace and enlightenment, is a very different character from a Donald Trump, and he's going to get very different outcomes and lead a very different life, because they're just resonating at a different level. Well, those are two extreme examples, but it illustrates the point really well. You wouldn't put them in the same category. Ramana and a Donald Trump, very, very different mindset, thought system, very different people, because they're vibrating at a very different frequency, and so they create a different reality for themselves. That's really all this is saying. Okay, shall we move on then to paragraph 2, which is just a short prayer. Do you want to read the original or the alternative?
I'll read the original then. Yeah. Father, this is your day.
And my source, this is your day.
It is a day in which I would do nothing by myself and hear your voice in everything I do, requesting only what you offer me, accepting only thoughts you share with me.
It is a day in which I choose to do nothing by myself but instead hear your voice in everything I do and ask only for what you offer me, accepting only the thoughts you share with me. So comments on that? He's saying in this prayer.
It's just saying today to choose nothing but the voice of, well, your voice, the source of everything, and just be guided by that and accept all thoughts that the one shares with us.
Yeah. So I'm going to do nothing by myself, a separate self that is grasping and grieving and desiring and fearing, wanting. I'm not going to do any of that because that's just my little self trying to protect itself, to enhance itself, to make its life better. But instead, I'm going to let that go and hear your voice in everything I do. I'm going to ask only for what you offer me, accepting only the thoughts you share with me. So a surrendered life. David Hoffmeister calls it to be done through, a done through life. I am not making the decisions. I am not living according to my separate self's interests and goals and fears and desires anymore. I'm living in the flow of life, guided by this intelligence we call the Holy Spirit. And it's guiding me to make the right choices, the right decisions, the right actions, no matter what seems to be happening on the level of, which is why we receive whatever we request. To say, all I want is awakening, and the byproducts of that are love and peace and joy, and that's really what I value. Then, that's the prayer of your heart, and that's what will start manifesting. Okay, so really good lesson. There's a slide, I actually borrowed it from the previous. No, that's correct. It's 339. Yeah. So I'll receive whatever I request. Just read that.
I will receive whatever. Yeah, I will receive whatever I request. This lesson is not about pouring energy into what we think we want, but requesting what we really want. Things like forgiveness, our true identity, God. Yeah. And that's these peace, happiness, a quiet mind, certainty, purpose, care. Yeah. Protection, safety. Yeah. That's what we really want, yeah.
Yeah, I mean these are huge gifts, really, to be always peaceful, always calm, quiet, always feel like you're comforted, you're at rest. Never feel like you can be hurt, never feel vulnerable, at perfect rest, that you can never be upset. I mean, these are huge. To live in this way is not easy, but it is achievable. To live in that way is to lead a truly awakened or enlightened life. To get there, there's a process to get there. How do you get to a deeper understanding and experience of all of this? The answer is practice, 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 practice. You practice letting go of your own ideas and allowing the Holy Spirit's ideas to come into your mind, and then these come as byproducts. Okay. Make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are we doing on time? Nearly half past. When do you want to wrap it up, Elaine?
Yeah, 9 o'clock, please. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So, choice. We can do a meditation on this for 20 odd minutes and wrap it up, or we can do half an hour of text. What would you prefer to do?
Actually, I think I'd like the meditation. That would be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Fine. All right. So So this is a meditation on today's lesson 339. I will receive whatever I request. So just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. Start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. And scan your mind for any negative thoughts, any desires maybe, expectations, any grievances, because those expectations have been met. Frustration, anger, fear, hatred, jealousy, rage, maybe seemingly more positive emotions like excitement. Just breathe into all of that. Remind yourself of today's lesson that I will receive whatever I request. Or in alternative language, I receive whatever I ask for. I'll receive whatever I ask for. And exhale. Have a sense of just blowing out any darkness, any negativity. Low stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Rest here for a few moments in this deep peace and stillness. Notice the peace that underlies all of your misperceptions. The more you notice it, the more you realize that that peace was always there. So now just listen to these words. Read you a couple of paragraphs. This was short commentary on this key idea. So just breathing in and out through your nose, nice deep slow rhythmical breaths. Breathing in. So no one desires pain. I'll read it to you in the alternative. Just breathing in and out through your nose, watch your breath. and no one desires pain, but they can think that pain is pleasure. So just scan your own mind, and they can think that pain is pleasure, even though they don't desire pain overtly. They can think that joy is painful, threatening, and dangerous, even though no one would choose to avoid their happiness. Everyone will receive what they ask for, but they can be confused indeed about the things they want and the state they want to experience. What can they then request that they really want when they receive it? So what can they then request that they really want when they receive it? They've asked for what will frighten them and make them suffer. The result today is to ask only for what I really want. So resolve today to ask only for what I really want, so that I may be fearless today and not confuse pain with joy, or fear with love. And we use this, everything in the ego side, pain, fear, attack, hatred. So breathing in again, breathing in. Breathing in again. Say this prayer, addressing your most innermost self, the source of your awareness. So my source, this is your day. Just embrace it, breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body. So my source, this is your day. It is a day in which I choose to do nothing by myself. So it's a day in which I choose to do nothing by myself, but instead hear your voice in everything I do. And ask only for what you offer me. So remember that you receive whatever you request. Don't have to pour energy into what you think you want, but just take the time to request what you really want. what can you expect when you ask for what is true except peace, happiness, a quiet mind, a certain purpose, sense of worth and beauty transcends the world, care, love, safety, warmth of being surely protected. Quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that can never be hurt, a deep abiding comfort. So just sink into this quietness, this gentleness, this deep abiding comfort, a rest so perfect it can never be upset. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, be still. So sinking inwards to this most innermost self. So just breathing in and out through your nose. Observe the breath, letting go of any thoughts that don't serve you with the breath. Just find yourself slipping away, melting away into this lovely, so just for a couple of minutes, there's really nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, be still. If you want to come out of it, just stay here for another minute or so. So just gently coming back now. It's a very deep connected state. And come back on the count of 3 into an awareness of your body and the breath, the senses in the world. So on the count of 1, you're going to breathe in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile, scan your mind. And notice any thoughts, any emotions, and any related body sensations going on. Remind yourself that I receive whatever I request. So I just got to change my request and I'll get something different, irrespective of what the projections are saying. I exhale on the truth of that. Have a sense of letting go with the breeze of your breath. Exhaling out, noticing how the air flows out of the chest and the stomach. Find a sense of peace and stillness at the bottom of the exhale. Certainty of purpose and the quietness that cannot be disturbed and the gentleness that can never be hurt. And a deep abiding comfort and a rest so perfect it can never be upset. Try and experience these states rolled into one in just a few seconds. Notice how the weight of your body is pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling with your hands, touching, tasting, smelling. You breathe in, notice the smell in your mouth, notice the taste in your smell in your nose, taste in your mouth. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just without judgment. No need to judge, label. Just notice all these things in this very still, calm, quiet, surrendered way. And maintain this quietness, this awareness. And you open your eyes and for the rest of the evening. So it is said, and so it is done. And now on the count of 3, just open your eyes and look around. Just take a minute to ground yourself back into this world, this reality. Just observing it in this very calm, clear, detached way. Notice how peaceful you feel. Things are a bit less heavy than they were 20 minutes ago when we started the meditation. And just anchor the state in. By acknowledging it, you accept it, you welcome it. So this this is acceptable to me, this is what I want, essentially. As we know from the lesson, you receive whatever you want. So that's your choice, and you receive more of this. More peace, more love, more joy, and all the gifts of God. Peace, happiness, a quiet mind, certainty of purpose, sense of worth and beauty, care, safety, the warmth of sure protection always, a quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that can never be hurt, a deep abiding comfort, and a rest so perfect it can never be upset. Just name all those things, try and experience them right now, because they all lie in this single awareness of your source, which remember is just you. So that's what I wish for you for the rest of the evening. A lot of peace, happiness, joy. Stay in that mindset. And if you need to let go of something, just use the lesson to help you do that. Let that carry you into tomorrow and the rest of your week in this very peaceful, calm, quiet state, which is your natural state. This is who you really are. Anything else is the illusion. It's ultimately what we came here to learn. So it is. Amen. Which brings us to the end of the meditation and tonight's session. So thanks, Elaine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, hopefully you feel relaxed. It was a good session, and I'll
Mhm.
see you see you again tomorrow. Can you join the masterclass tomorrow?
Yes, I'll pop in. Yes, of course.
Yeah, starts at 7, so you're welcome to join at 7 if you want from the start. It is something new
Mhm.
that you haven't seen, so some learning. Or join us later. We're going to be going till about 9. So,
Yeah, that's
but
great.
yeah, but if you can join at 7, yeah. So I will.
See you then.
Yeah, same link. I'll include it in the Telegram message and your email. So
Mhm.
join us then, and yeah, if anyone comes to mind, it's probably a bit late now, given it's already almost tomorrow. But I will be running another one in February.
Right.
All
Yes.
right.
Okay. Thank you
See
very
you tomorrow.
much.
All right.
Okay. Good night. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye for now. Okay, so that is a wrap for today. Just signing out. If you enjoyed that session, why not subscribe to the channel? I will go live tomorrow as well with the masterclass. So you'll be able to catch that. But do join us if you'd like to sign up to that and receive a daily inspirational quote and some teachings around that, the daily lesson from the course, as well as short mini meditation or breath break to help you practice it, as well as invitations to these live sessions. Go to lifepool.com, put in your mobile number, and you will be signed up to the Telegram group, provided you have Telegram. And yeah, you'll be able to join us. I'll send the link to the group. Join us tomorrow evening for the Art of Letting Go masterclass, where I'll talk about what the art of letting go really is and how you can master that over the course of the next year. So hope to connect with you in the group and in the live session. Thanks for watching and listening, and namaste, which means the truth in me, the love and peace and joy this brings, not as known as that same true self, true loving, peaceful, joyful self in you. Thanks for watching or listening. Namaste. And I hope to see you soon.